Hey, what is up, mortals? Justin here, and before we get into today's video, I'd like to say something. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go to the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if you didn't know, only 25% of you guys are subscribed to us, so please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. In this video, we will be explaining Mirio Togata from the anime My Hero Academia. When he was a child, he fell into a river but was saved by a pro hero. This convinced him to become a hero when he was old enough. However, his father believed that because of his permeation quirk, it would be difficult to achieve this goal. Mirio didn't lose hope and spent the rest of his childhood training his quirk so he could fulfill his dream. He met Tamaki Amajiki in the 3rd grade, who had just transferred to his school. He fumbled during his introduction as he struggled with social interactions. Mirio realized that Tamaki was trying to say that he liked pro heroes, so he approached them, beginning their friendship. In middle school, Mirio took part in quirk education class where he attempted to phase through a wall, but he was only able to phase his hands through it. Some of his classmates laughed at his attempt, but this didn't dishearten him from practicing his phasing. While walking home with Tamaki, he praised Mirio's optimism while lamenting his own self-esteem. Mirio cheered him up by saying that he would shine as bright as the sun, and the reason he could give it his all was because Tamaki was there for him. Mirio praised Tamaki for never wanting to give up, inspiring him to do the same. Although Tamaki sees himself as a boring person with low self-esteem, Mirio always views Tamaki as a talented person who was always cool, fun, and sunny to be around. After middle school, the two attended UA High School. At first, Mirio struggled a lot to the point where he got low results at the UA Sports Festival. This changed, however, when he became an intern to Sir Night-Eye. He taught him how to use his quirk and cultivate his abilities to the point where he's a part of the Big Three of UA High School. He is first introduced in Season 3, where he approaches Deku, who's taking out the trash, and directs him to where he should put it. He frightens Deku as he uses his quirk to warp around him, and Mirio soon vanishes. We can see him again 3 days later when the Big Three are introduced to Class 1A. Mirio tries to break the ice by telling a joke, but none of the class understand the joke. He then insists that the best way the students will learn about work studies is if they all fight him. He easily defeats the students, but is impressed by Midoriya in particular as he had formed a strategy during the fight. Later, Mirio asks Deku what type of hero he wants to be, and his response inspires Mirio to introduce him to Sir Night-Eye as soon as possible. Later that day, he takes him to his office and Night-Eye tests Deku as he passes. The next day, the two go on a patrol around the area and encounter Kai, Chisaki, and Eri. They keep their association to Night-Eye a secret and the two part ways. Deku attempts to follow them, but Mirio stops him, reminding him of Night-Eye's orders. After a few days, Mirio attends a meeting at the Night-Eye offices and discovers the truth of the quirk erasing bullets. Mirio is devastated, as before they had a chance to save her but didn't take it, and he vows to protect her no matter the cost. Several days go by, until they finally get information on Eri's whereabouts, and the group raid Shie Hasaikai's home. They reach the underground but are stumped by a dead end. Mirio looks ahead and phases through to find a corridor, and he informs the group that a wall is blocking their way. Mirio is able to catch up with Kai and Chronostasis quickly, informing them that he's come to rescue Eri. Kai argues that Eri doesn't want to be in his custody and mocks him for his futile heroics, and Mirio responds by saying that he's come to rectify his mistake. He charges towards Kai and is put off balance by Deidara Sakaki and Shin Nemoto, who are hiding and waiting to attack. Shin tries to break his sprint by forcing him to answer his questions, revealing Mirio's insecurities and aspects of his personality that he didn't know about. The combination of their quirks makes Mirio dizzy and dejected, and the two see their opportunity to strike. Mirio, however, uses his special move, Phantom Menace, to defeat the two. Mirio then goes to attack Overhaul, being able to backhand slap him and also kicking Chronostasis while not injuring Eri. And he is able to get a hold of Eri, who tells him to back down, as Overhaul would kill him if he didn't. Mirio makes his promise to Eri and continues to fight. Overhaul reconstructs the crumbled ground into massive spikes to attack Mirio, but using his quirk, he's able to defend himself, and he holds up Eri so she wouldn't get hurt either. He launches more spikes at him, not caring at all about Eri's safety, and he avoids them, but he's enraged when he reveals that Eri has already experienced the pain of her body being used for bullets. The spikes cut off his escape route, and Chronostasis wakes up and holds up a gun full of quirk-disabling bullets. Overhaul deconstructs the ground, causing Mirio to be in mid-air. He avoids Chronostasis' bullet by concealing himself and Eri with his cape. Mirio is able to disarm Chronostasis and he's close to injuring him, but Overhaul launches him away, saving him from the attack. Overhaul realizes that he underestimated Eri and decides to lower Mirio's morale by killing Eri, but before he can do so, Mirio appears behind him and punches him in the face. Mirio tells Overhaul how he is more powerful than him, but is still impressed by his strength, and he teleports in front of him and lands another punch. However, Nemoto crawled himself towards the fight, and Kai notices him and tosses him the quirk-disabling bullets. He aims the gun towards Eri, as she's Mirio's weakness, and shoots. Mirio smiles to reassure Eri as the bullet hits him. Mirio reflects on his hero journey up until this point. Shin celebrates and Overhaul laughs at his efforts and mocks him for smiling when he lost everything. Overhaul goes to deconstruct the ground again, but Mirio kicks an unconscious chronostasis at him, distracting him enough to punch his arm. He declares to Overhaul that despite being quirkless, all of his training wouldn't be in vain, as he is able to be the hero he always wished to be. He continues to fight him for 5 more minutes until he is too wounded to fight anymore, buying enough time for Deku to defeat Overhaul. Before we get back into the dive, I would like to say that we are only one of many We the Celestials channels, in case you guys didn't know. If you have the sugar tooth for great storytelling, please give our What If channels a visit. No matter if it's My Hero Academia What Ifs or Naruto What Ifs, we've got you covered. Did we get your attention? Great! Click the icon in the top right corner or check the description below for the links to the other channels. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back into the dive. Sir Night-Eye retrieves Mirio and Eri and congratulates his pupil, telling him how proud he was of the hero he had become. Midoriya takes Mirio and Eri to a hallway and his body gives out, and he collapses and cries because he's failing to do what he had promised. He tells her to hide so she would be safe, and his wounds become too much for him, and he falls unconscious for the rest of the fight, Tamaki later picking him up. While he was unconscious, Sir Night-Eye was mortally wounded by Kai. He is the only hero who can't be healed by Recovery Girl as his wounds are too severe. Tears streaming down his face, Mirio begs his mentor to stay with him as he still had so much to learn. Night-Eye regrets considering Mirio as a mere vessel for One For All and realizes that he's his most treasured student. Night-Eye sees Mirio's future where he will become an outstanding hero, and he tells him to bring smiles to the world before he passes on. Much later, Deku visits Mirio in the hospital and is surprised to see him doing exercises on his bed cheerfully. Mirio understands that he shouldn't be upbeat as he just lost his quirk and Night-Eye, but he can't help but smile as he noticed how happy Night-Eye was in his last moments, and he's aware that acting glum would make Eri sad too. Deku hypothetically offers his quirk to Mirio, but to his surprise, Mirio declines as Deku would go through hardships if he did accept his quirk. Mirio tells him to smile, and Deku responds by telling him that he'll be waiting for him to return to UA. After he leaves the hospital, Deku and Mirio visit Eri, and he gives her a fruit basket as a gift. Eri feels guilty that Mirio lost his quirk for her, but he reassures her that she isn't to blame, and everyone is relieved that she's safe. Mirio explains to her what the UA festival is, as she doesn't know what a school festival is. Mirio and Eri visit Class 1A while he takes her on a tour around the school. Deku goes around with them and shows her what the other classes are doing. Eri exclaims how she hopes to see their hard work pay off at the festival, and the two light up. On the day of the festival, Aizawa, Mirio, and Eri ride to UA in a taxi, and Mirio describes the schedule to Eri, asking her if she's excited to see Deku perform, as she responds positively. While they watch the performance, Mirio holds her up so she can see, and she can't help but smile brightly, showing that Overhaul's control over her psyche has finally diminished. This makes Mirio cry tears of joy as he's glad to see Eri finally express positive emotions. Mirio, Aizawa, and Deku take Eri around the festival for the rest of the day till the day ends and she's returned to the hospital. Mirio is very tall and has a muscular build as well as multiple scars around his lower arms. Mirio's design is very unique due to his odd oval-shaped eyes, which are drawn in a simplistic style. He has blonde hair, which is styled in a cowlick, while the bottom section is swept backward. He wears the typical UA male uniform along with a belt with a large gold buckle that resembles a mouth. In middle school, he had long hair, which he tied back in a ponytail. It's assumed that he had it cut so the support department could use it to manufacture him a hero costume that would work alongside his quirk. His hero costume is a white, skin-tight top with the number 1,000,000 across his chest in a bold yellow font. 2 green lines act as a belt on his waist along with lines on his shoulders that form 2 V's. He wears baggy dark blue pants with white knee-high boots. He also wears a red cape and thick gloves of the same color, as well as a white visor with yellow lenses. Mirio normally comes off as extremely goofy and very energetic. This makes some question how he's one of UA's top students. He has an optimistic attitude and is always smiling. This is what led Sir Night-Eye to believe that he could replace All Might as a symbol of peace. He is known for his odd sense of humor, as his jokes range from corny to puerile, occasionally making a joke to himself to amuse others. He doesn't allow his laid-back nature to cloud his judgment or get in the way of his dream to be a hero. He has proven to be an extremely hard worker, turning a near unmasterable ability into one of the world's most powerful quirks. He is constantly looking for ways to improve his quirk, and he works towards his goals by accumulating different experiences to learn from them. He knows that, as a hero, it's impossible to save everyone, which is why he chose his hero name to be Lemillion, as he wishes to save at least 1 million people. Despite his uplifting personality, he suffers from failure, like everyone else. He has an excellent understanding of hero protocols, and can control his emotions so he can see the bigger picture. Lemillion and Deku acted for the greater good when they let Eri go with Overhaul, but their failure to rescue her tormented them when they found out the truth. This burdened him with immense guilt, which drove him to make a promise that he never wanted Eri to be harmed again. He is very brave and isn't scared easily. He is very confident in his abilities, as he knew he could take on all of Class 1A to teach them a lesson, and confronted 4 of the Shie Hasaikai members alone. He displays the values of being a true hero, as he risked his life and even lost his quirk to protect Eri, even though it would negatively affect his career. His bravery let Eri awaken and set the path for the heroes to defeat the Yakuza. He continued fighting even after he lost his quirk, which caused Shin Nemoto to question whether he was even human. Despite losing his quirk and his mentor because of the raid, Mirio doesn't give up on becoming a hero. He still has his cheerful personality, and he was even empowered by Sir Night-Eye's last words to him. He denied Midoriya's offer to receive One for All, and told Tamaki that he was in no rush to get his powers back, meaning that he's okay with being quirkless. Out of the big 3, Mirio has earned enormous acclaim due to a combination of extraordinary technique, great fighting ability, and a charismatic personality, to the point where he was considered to be one of the best future pro heroes, and he was even a contender for All Might's quirk. This caught the eye of All Might's former sidekick Sir Night-Eye, and he helped him to train and become the hero that he is today. He has inhumane strength and incredible deduction skills. An example being when he fought the whole of Class 1A and was able to beat 18 out of the 20 students. He can accurately predict his opponent's movements. This, combined with his quirk, makes him unrivaled in battle. His greatest strength is his mastery over his quirk, to the point where he can be considered almost invincible. As he can control which parts of his body are affected by his quirk, it is nearly impossible to guard any of his attacks. Thanks to his training, he also gives the illusion that he's teleporting by resurfacing himself behind his target. This happens in seconds. He possesses a great deal of physical strength, so much so that it appears unnatural. A single punch to the stomach can be enough to knock his enemy down. Mirio's blows were hard enough to break Overhaul's arm and Kirishima's hardened body. He also has a very impressive speed, being able to take out more than half of Class 1A in 6 seconds, though this is mostly due to the warping ability of his quirk. He is a very astute individual and displays this when he decides to defeat the long-distance fighters first in Class 1A. He was able to convince Overhaul that himself and Deku were just interning students, and made sure to cover Deku's face so the Yakuza wouldn't recognize him. He was able to deduce from just meeting Shin Nemoto that he wasn't the type to be on the front lines, to which he agreed. A prominent aspect of his character is his unwavering will, brave heart, and heroic spirit that make him a true hero. He is able to avoid feelings of fear and intimidation, which has allowed him to overcome overwhelming threats and situations with sheer tenacity. Even when Mirio was quirkless and was suffering from multiple injuries, his resolve let him continue to fight Overhaul with willpower alone. This die-hard heroism convinces Eri to help Deku to defeat Overhaul. His quirk, Permeation, allowed him to become intangible. He could phase through walls and the ground, as well as let enemy attacks pass through him harmlessly. When he is intangible, he can't see, hear, or breathe because he still has mass. The first of which being Blinder Touch Eyeball Crush, which is when Mirio pretends to poke his enemy in the eyeball while intangible, distracting them long enough to make an actual blow to their stomach. His second special move is Phantom Menace, which is when he repels out of a surface when returning to solid form, then quickly phases into another nearby surface. This launches himself at high speeds in and around his surroundings with all of his brute strength, striking all targets precisely with pinpoint accuracy and calculation from all directions. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time. So, if you're interested, go to the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 and up Patreon supporters who fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video and the audio and video editors for this video. Their details are in the description below. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out, mortals. Have a fantastic day.